Eat, sleep, bet, repeat. That's how we get down on the opening line at EliteSportsBetting.com. I'm your host, Benny Ricciardi. And as always, for Friday, even though it's Thursday night, because we're trying to get a little bit of a jump on this.
I like this new schedule, Benny. I like it.
Hey, it works out fine for me. Normally at this time, I'm probably doing like a baseball live stream or a basketball live stream. But since we don't have baseball or basketball right now, you know what? Let's talk about this here. We get it out Thursday night. That way we can talk about the Friday game if there's a good one this week. And, we give people a couple days to get those bets in for soccer. But you guys know me. I'm Benny. You guys know him. He's Duke, the leader of our soccer content over at Elite Sports Betting and Elite Fantasy. I am going to pass this over to you right now, my man. What are we looking at?
Looking at a lot of stuff, okay? We got La Liga back today. It's actually, like Benny said, Thursday evening. We're just sweating out one Real Betis goal. That's all we need to go 2-0 today. Any goal gets us to at least a profitable day. But this weekend, Bundesliga, La Liga. Next week, EPL is back. Yep. This will take us all the way through July, basically, and then late July, early August, we have some Champions League and Europa League to get us right into the new seasons that we'll have for next year. So nothing but action, and it starts not only this weekend, but like literally tomorrow, Benny. That's the first game we're going to talk about, Hoffenheim and RB Leipzig.
Yeah, and, like you said, I mean, again, huge opportunity that baseball's missing out on right now. If they would get their shit together and come back, everybody would have spent all day today watching, betting on, and putting in daily lineups for baseball. And I know that because guys like Duke and I, who aren't huge golf guys, put in a massive amount of lineups and a massive amount of bets in on PGA golf today because there's nothing else to bet on at the moment.
Benny, I'm literally sitting there last night. I've finished up the majority of the intro piece and the game breakdowns of my article. Haven't picked the DFS players yet. I'm still up. I'm in charge of the baby, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I had no plans to play PGA. I ended up watching our live stream over on EliteFantasy.com with Fried Egg Pauly and Real Frank Brank. I'm thinking, let's do it, man. 150 lineups later, I'm sitting there sweating out golf for, an entire day so far with 3 more to go.
I mean, Duke kind of mentioned it, and that's part of the reason why I did it too. I have been kind of banging the table for a while to let Paulie and Frank take over the, the golf PGA stuff that we do over here and be the main guys for that. They do a great job on the Up and Down podcast that you guys can watch here on our YouTube channel, breaking down the bets. But, all that information that they have and all the, the modeling and everything that they do also translates very well to DFS, which is why I was really excited that they're, taking over the DFS content for us over on Elite Fantasy when it comes to the PGA side of things. So I did the same thing Duke did. I watched their PGA show last night. Sat down, started just banging out lineups and putting them together and, figuring out which pieces I wanted and who was going there. And with the exception of Harris motherfucking English, everything has worked out pretty well today. But he's kind of screwing me here. So what I'm going to say, Duke, though, I mean, Morikawa still right there at the top, one of Paulie's favorite plays at 45-1 right now, sitting tied for second. 5 holes left for him. He's -6, so that's looking really good on that bet. So let's get into some of these soccer bets. And let's see if we can make some money in one of the other few sports we got going on right
now. Yeah, you may have seen me react. Brilliant chance there for Betis, who, of course, shanks it wide. So, hey, 15 minutes, 20 minutes left in that game. We'll see if we get anything out of that. But tomorrow we have RB Leipzig versus Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim's the home squad here. As we talk about continuously, home away doesn't mean as much as it usually does. Interesting game to break down because I'm actually going to bet this 2 different ways. I like RB Leipzig to win the game. I like Hoffenheim to cover the goal line. So right now it's +1, +1.5, even money. So essentially what that means is if Hoffenheim tie or win the game, we win the entire bet. If they lose by 1, we push half the bet. We win the +1.5. If we lose by 2 or more, then we lose the bet. On the side, I like Hoffenheim. Number one, because they've been playing well. They've been winning games. We think of Hoffenheim as kind of a middle-of-the-table, working their way through the season type of team here. But since the break, they've looked much sharper, fresher, and getting some production from the front line. RB Leipzig, very hit or miss. If Poulsen plays, as always, I think he's an upgrade over Schick, who has been fantastic. But Timo Werner, if he's on, RB Leipzig could run away with this. He's too hit or miss. He's totally a GPP type of play from a DFS standpoint. And we're looking at betting lines here. There is some value on Hoffenheim +1, +1.5. Now, but I am going to pick Leipzig to win the game in a parlay that we're talking about here in just a little bit. So the main play, the 1-unit play, is going to be Hoffenheim +1, +1.5.
Now, this is the Friday game you're talking, right?
This is the Friday game, 2:30 p.m. kickoff here on the East Coast.
All right, and that actually draws us into some of the Saturday games because I know you said you had a big parlay. If we're looking to roll the dice and make a big score here this weekend, so your parlay's actually starting on Friday with that game. Talk about the rest of it because I know you said you were kind of excited about this one, and I got to write the names down because I'm going to put it in when we get off the air.
Yeah, we got 3 more legs of this 4-leg parlay, 1 unit to win 5.3. We do like Leipzig to win. We like Borussia Dortmund to win, which we'll talk about that line here in a second. Valencia is minus 145. That's in Spain, La Liga. And the other game is Barcelona minus 1.5, minus 2. If you're kicking one leg out of that altogether, I would kick out the Barcelona minus 1.5, 2. I do like Barca. They've changed managers, before the break here. They are starting to get some things flowing here. Luis Suarez is rumored to be back. He's really going to change the way they play the game because he can occupy those 2 center backs. Right now with Griezmann or Messi or, who else plays up front, they tend to drop deeper and let those center backs kind of sit back and hold that back line and then maybe step into pressure. And then it creates all kinds of issues and not enough space for Messi to work especially, but really everyone, Griezmann and the whole 9. If Suarez is there, he occupies those 2 center backs and gives you that space that Messi finds those little wiggle room areas and it does all the damage. So if you're kicking one out, you can kick out the minus 1 or minus 1.5, minus 2. I like them all in 1 unit to win 5.3.
Yeah, I mean, listen, soccer is one of those sports where they could be up 1-0 in that game and just decide to kind of sit on it, which is why I don't like taking the big goal number. So I probably will knock that out. But even if you knock that last leg out, you're still looking at a pretty decent payoff on this, right? Because we got a bunch of teams that are, minus money, but minus 140, minus 130, like not big on this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you just go with the 3 teams, it's 1 unit to win 2.23. The Dortmund line, let's go ahead and talk about that. They're playing Dusseldorf, who's a decent defensive squad. I think the line here reflects Haaland not playing. If Haaland makes it in the first 11, this should be minus 350, minus 400. I mean, certainly Dortmund's going to win the game. That much I think we can all agree on. Minus 1.5 is even in play if Haaland plays. I wouldn't mind sprinkling a little bit on that now to possibly grab some closing line value if he does make the first 11. Again, this could be a situation here, Benny, like you were just talking about, where Dortmund just needs the win. We just saw them win 1-0. I think the last game they played, and I've been doing articles, I feel like since late May here, every single day. So it's all running together. But Dortmund's a team without Haaland who's probably going to win the game, struggles to find that last piece. Who's going to be the one to finish off the chance? Rafael Guerrero's been scoring goals. Piszczek scored goals. If Haaland's in there, he really gives you that target.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to actually ask you about.
It was 1-0 versus Hertha. That's right, Hertha Berlin.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we find some value in maybe the goal scorer in that game? Because, he's a guy who just came in and just absolutely has been on a tear and just putting up goals like we haven't seen out of, an 18-year-old kid before. Without him, though, who is the guy that's going to be the focal point there? That's going to be the guy that they're looking to get the ball to finish? Or is it just one of those things where it's going to just get spread around and we're going to see shots peppered from all over, from everywhere?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation where we think of Jadon Sancho as a goal scorer, I guess a little bit, but really more of a setup man. And without Haaland in there, he's been tasked with scoring a little bit more than he usually has. Bagged a hat trick just 2 games ago. Hasn't had an assist in 3 games, which is a little bit interesting. I actually like him to grab an assist if Haaland does start. But you start going down the list. I mean, who's it going to be? Hakimi coming from wide. He's plus 300 for anytime goal scorer. Thorgan Hazard's minus 105, has played through the middle a little bit. Rafael Guerrero's plus 187. I'm not paying those odds for, another wide player. Julian Brandt's a player who's interesting. He's had his assist in the last 2 games, if my memory serves me correct. If he plays through the middle at that number 9, perhaps he's an option there, but he does like to sit a little bit deeper and play make. So after that, I mean, we can work our way all the way down and maybe look at something even like, let's see here, who's a decent opportunity to score here. Let's say first goal, we can go with like a Thomas Delaney on a set piece is plus 1,000. That'd be wild. We can even go against the grain here and take someone like an Eric Tommy. Maybe Dusseldorf grabs the first goal. He's plus 1,600 for that. So something kind of off the board there. But
well, that's what I was noticing when I was looking at that game is that, if you have a strong feeling about somebody being a goal scorer, the odds on everybody outside of, Haaland are pretty good at this point. Like, I mean, you're getting some very good value. And if you're expecting, Dortmund to win this game, I mean, I was kind of looking at some of the guys that might be playing, a little more forward for them, thinking maybe we get a goal out of one of them. And I think every one of them is plus money right now. A lot of them are plus money just to score. Forget about like first goal. You're getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 on some of these guys. So, there's some value there. I just don't know which way I want to try to go with it.
They're a bit like Barcelona got for a while, where it's a bunch of really good technical players who can all interchange a bunch of positions, but they're all looking at the next person to go score. It's, come on, you go, you make that run, you make that extra run to get in the box. Whereas we constantly see Haaland just breaking his neck to beat his defender to that near post and get that flick on goal. Just naturally not in a lot of these other players' instincts to do that. More hang around the outside of the box, find the little pockets, and set some things up. So if you can find really good, plus 1,200 or so odds on someone like, a Kanji, a center back for Dortmund, to grab some sort of set piece goal, that may be the way to go.
Yeah, like I said, there is going to be some value there if he doesn't play. And if he does play, I think you got to go back to him because this is a guy that's just been putting up goals in bunches when we kind of get there. So now you said we got what? We got La Liga back now. We got Bundesliga back now. We got to wait next week. We get England back, right? Premier League coming back next week.
We do. Yes, we do.
And Serie A is coming back soon too, no?
Serie A will be back, which is surprising. I mean, we think back to they were really the first country to totally shut down and isolate everything. I thought for sure that would be the one league of the major leagues that canceled things, but they're determined to get it. There's just so much money at stake here, Benny, with TV contracts and revenue for these teams and everything. Not only just money coming in, but money they would have to pay back if they didn't get these games in. Ultimately, the almighty dollar's going to win out here. But super pumped for EPL. It's watching all these leagues, I think it's been good for the soccer community in a whole throughout the U.S. We see today the differences between the Bundesliga and La Liga. I think the Bundesliga, from what I've seen, just one game in here, came back a little bit sharper than La Liga did. Part of the reason why I like Barcelona with all of their talent at that -1.5, -2. I think the class will win out in games like that. But with the EPL coming back, we have a $200,000 DFS tournament over on DraftKings next Wednesday for one game. Man City versus Arsenal. And Brian Healy and I are going to break that down on the Talking Soccer podcast next Tuesday. Excited about that.
All right, so make sure. Now, that's the one that's over on Apple, right? Let everybody know where they can find that.
It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. I think it's on Spotify. It's on Podbean, but it's on most places you can find podcasts. As of right now, just search Elite Fantasy Podcast. It'll pop up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, review, and I'll read it out on the podcast.
And there you go. Sports are back, baby, and we're back in business right now and firing everything up. So
Batiste missed another opportunity, by the way, Benny.
There goes that goddamn thing again. Unbelievable. So what do you got? 10 minutes left in that game or so? I don't know. How long we've been talking here?
We have 3 minutes left in regulation, and then probably 4 to 5 minutes of extra time. So press. We need a goal from someone just to hit our over, but we prefer that Batiste to hit both teams to score and the over 2.5.
All right, so there we go. Hopefully we get that in the next couple minutes. By the time you guys see this, we'll probably know whether or not that was a win or a loss. But either way, he's Duke, I'm Benny, and this has been another episode of The Opening Line at EliteSportsBetting.com.